A man stood on a windowsill, frantically throwing large amounts of cash down to the street, deliberately causing a commotion among the crowd below. He wasn't doing this because he was mentally ill, but to create a diversion for his brother, who was carrying out a robbery in the building across the street. As everyone focused their attention on Nick, his brother quickly took action on the opposite rooftop. They first arranged explosive wires in a circle, then placed steel plates underneath, drilling a small hole in the center to insert the bomb. Finally, they covered everything with a mattress. Once all preparations were complete, it was Nick's turn to perform. Everyone thought Nick was attempting suicide, not realizing he was actually using the screams from below to mask the explosion in the building across the street. Just as planned, the crowd below remained unaware that an explosion had just occurred on the rooftop opposite them. Nick was formerly a police officer who had been framed and imprisoned 2 years ago. During those years, he repeatedly filed appeals, all of which were mercilessly rejected. Most people couldn't accept such a reality, especially someone who had once upheld the law. After Nick's father passed away, a funeral was scheduled a few days later. Nick was granted 1 day of parole to attend. At the funeral, the two brothers got into an argument that escalated into a physical fight. When prison guards intervened, Nick suddenly attacked them, knocked them down, seized their weapons, shot out the tires of one vehicle, and escaped in the remaining car. But he didn't flee. Instead, he decided to clear his name through extreme measures. In a hotel suite, Nick ate his last meal, carefully wiped the utensils clean to ensure no fingerprints remained at the scene, wrote a note, then opened the window and climbed onto the balcony. At that moment, Nick heard his brother Joey's voice in his earpiece. The brothers' cemetery argument had been an act designed to create chaos and help Nick escape. Joey and his girlfriend Angie positioned themselves in the building across from the hotel. Nick moved to the other side of the windowsill as they began implementing their plan. By now, Joey had successfully entered the diamond building through the hole created by the explosion. Using ropes, they infiltrated the floor housing the diamond vault. To bypass the monitored areas, they used fabric matching the floor color to slip past surveillance cameras. Once in a blind spot, Joey took photos of the security camera views, printed them, and attached them to models to create the illusion that everything in the vault remained secure. This allowed them to reach the vault entrance undetected. However, just as they prepared to enter through the ventilation shaft, nearby police identified Nick as the former officer imprisoned years ago for diamond theft. Realizing that the hotel Nick was in belonged to the diamond's owner, the sheriff immediately alerted the security chief of the diamond building to return and check the vault. With their mission about to be discovered, Joey quickly repositioned the ventilation cover. To cover Joey's retreat, Nick began throwing money to the crowd below, momentarily stopping the security personnel in their tracks. Joey used this precious time to install a microcamera on the combination lock, then hid in the ventilation duct, just seconds before security personnel arrived at the vault.